Yeah, that darn bell. Ian's panicking.
I thought that was like a fucking signal or something. I was like,
No
damn, that's legit,
capitalization,
dude.
It is hot.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Fake Deep Take. It's a group of guys sitting down talking about the world.
Let me take
Today we
this
got with us John,
You're finna pop these Excedrin.
Doc,
What's up?
and myself, Eugene. Started off with the bell. All right, so
Yo,
I
we
think
should, we should keep that. I'm not gonna lie, we should keep it.
the little bell, like boom, boom, we're here. Da, da, da,
Yeah,
da,
like
da, da.
3, 2. Dun, 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 dun.
Maybe we had a better sound. I don't really
It's
like
time for
that
the
ding, like
percolate.
da, 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 da. But I see what you're saying. Better sound though, something to work on. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, so I came across a little clip of a Fresh and Fit podcast on TikTok, and apparently they had Skippy on their podcast, and I thought we could watch some timestamps that I took down and get some reactions because, man, this one, I'm not going to lie, kind of made me a little upset. So we're going to start with the first clip. How much for a lap dance? All right, go on, Ian.
Wearing a Virgin shirt, okay. Isaiah Briceno, $20. Yo, how much we got a super chat to get Skippy a lap dance?
Oh, you know what? If we get $100 and they definitely follow the girl that does it and they show her mad love to her, whatever she's doing,
Spam
then
likes.
we'll definitely do it for sure.
Okay, 115.
Speak for yourself.
8 Australian. What are the odds the panel gives their best Australian accent? Okay, and then we got Leon.
All right, so that's the first one. It was kind of like, why is Fresh always trying to do stuff like that? I don't know.
He a pervert. That's the fuck why. What do you mean? Why is he always trying to do shit like that? A fucking pervert. That's why. Oh yeah. You know what's crazy? He said $100, and then he had to kind of like add shit to it afterward to make it like $100. Oh yeah, I gotta remember about the bitch.
And you gotta go to
Follow the
OnlyFans,
bitch.
OnlyFans,
Her OnlyFans and like some pictures and some shit. Yeah, that'd be enough for the bitch.
All right.
But yeah, $100. I'm trying to see this lap dance.
Get the next one ready, Ian. So they talk about
Are we gonna pause it at each?
I don't know how to set it up where I can continuously go through it. If you want, we can just have Ian. If you could,
Play all the things and then
Do you know why he came on? Like, did he
we're gonna
Did
feel
he
weird
talk about why he
stopping
came
all the
on?
time.
They just reached out to him. They didn't really get too into specifics. It was mostly just about introductions. Introduce the girls and Skippy about he's a YouTuber and his background. He didn't really say specifically why I got on. Like he didn't say I'm here to promote myself. Like I mean, he probably did, but like he didn't really say anything specific. Like he's just there because like it's an opportunity. They paid for his flight. He came on the show. He was super excited. One of the clips where I want to get to, I guess we can probably skip to that one, is 4020. If you want to get to 4020, Ian, pretty much, he's like expressing how happy he is to be here, how awesome it is, he appreciate it, like he gets to be this guy who comes out here, and then the girl on his, what is it? I think our left, right here. Where's my hand? Just how she reacted to it, I don't know. It just bothered me. Go ahead and play it, Ian.
I wish that things had been different, right? Like, and especially now, I really wish that I had been around people of different groups. I mean, like, I honestly feel as I'm sitting here, like I am in a casting session of like a VH1 show, right? And that all the girls and the guys, right? And that they just slip me in as like a decoy for something like that because everyone here is beautiful. And I wanted to just say, you guys have been like super nice also.
Yo, Bianca, your face is killing me here, Bianca. Your face is killing me.
You're not a
such
decoy.
a hard time.
No, this is so much fun though.
Sad. Like I'm sad for you.
Wow.
That's not
You
good.
need to have
I'm
sex.
having a great time. You should be having as great of a time as I am.
Yeah.
Aww. That's not good.
I'm just I just feel so bad.
No.
Oh no, it's okay.
Why?
I can maybe make
Yeah,
money
I
as
think
a
you can pause
Jesse
it at one
Plemons.
point. I
Look,
don't know why she felt sad. Like, I guess I don't know if they deceived him. I don't think there was deception, but pretty much the whole show were them kind of analyzing the heck out of Skippy, in my opinion. Like they were just trying to give him advice the whole time, and I don't really think he was really looking for advice. I think he just wanted to be on the show, and it turned out into a whole let's analyze and critique and get your like opinion on the life and he did self-proclaim himself at the beginning of the show that he is a beta. Like he definitely identifies himself as a beta.
But that's part of him. That's part of him selling himself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, he can't
All these hoes is
technically not
respectful
be a
too, by the way.
beta, or he'll lose his character. Like if he fucking is like, no, I'm actually trying to to get
Well, I
laid,
guess
and I
that's a
just
question.
can't.
Do you think this is a character, or do you think this is who he actually is?
I think it's both. I think he leaned into the character and developed that way. Like, I don't think initially he was this bad, but instead of learning his lessons, he noticed he's
Got
getting
stuck?
If he's monetizing his YouTube page.
He's not monetizing. He's monetized, but he's not making a living off of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's branding. He's selling stuff.
Because that's
he's
another
doing-
thing I wanted to get
How
into
about merch?
here.
How does he do on merch? Do you
Huh?
know?
I mean, is that one of his shirts?
I mean, if
Maybe
he
I
sells
don't know.
those
He's got
shirts,
a hat
famous
like I am
merchant.
Skippy. Like I don't know if
Because
he
I've
he
always
might
seen
have
him with
merch.
shirts in his.
He
his
probably
little-
does have merch, but I don't know if it's selling. Because
He probably
Byron
gets
asked to hear.
sponsors at least, and the sponsors give him some cash when he reads them out before like his spiels or whatever they are. I'm not too familiar with his
Trojan
like,
need to
show
get
or what he
behind
does.
this man
Like if
right
you want
now.
to go to 4740, that's when Myron actually questions like how much Skippy makes and what he does for work, and it's kind of
Okay.
like
Although I'm not gonna lie, I feel like her response was actually genuine, but it very much is in like a cute puppy like kind of way, and I could see it if like it's cringy if you don't see yourself as that way. I think that he's already accepted that. That's why he responds with him just being like, whatever. Like,
Man,
not-
all
But
them
so-
bitches just told me they straight up liars. He
but
was
they're
like, y'all
disrespe-
beautiful.
So I
He said,
agree.
you are too. You are. I told him like, bitch, what part? What about me is beautiful? I
Like,
just
I don't
want you to. I just
disagree
want
with
to
you. I
hear
don't
it.
think she did it with malicious intent. The problem is she. This wasn't a time and place for her to show some level of sympathy, empathy, compassion, like niceness, whatever you want to call it. That wasn't the place for it, because instead of it coming across that way, at least to me, tell me if you guys see it differently, but I see it as super disrespectful. Like
I mean, I-
she pities this man.
Yeah, I
She
see.
in that moment demeaned him.
Yeah, I agree. It's petty. It's demeaning. Like if I was with some niggas, right, and I was trying to talk to Shorty, talk to the girl, and
She wasn't even trying to
and-
talk to the
no,
girl.
I know. I'm
Like,
just saying. But
I-
then she was like, "Oh, you're so cute," or da 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 da, and played it off real smooth like that. Because that's the equivalent. That's the same like bravado she had when it came to like, "Oh, you're so cute. You're so da da da." It was like somebody like, "Yeah, never," but yeah, you're adorable or da da da. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'd be
I'm gonna
embarrassed.
be nice to you, but I need you to understand that there's nothing coming from this. I'm just trying to be a good person.
Exactly. I'd be embarrassed, but I wouldn't read so deep into it where I'm like, oh, this bitch being disrespectful. Oh,
Well, she's not,
this-
like I said, she's not blatantly trying to be disrespectful, but
Mhm.
the problem is she doesn't realize her actions can be perceived. Because do you think he really would think that, like, you don't think that bothered him a little bit?
no, because how many times has he heard it?
Yeah, he probably
doesn't mean
sees it
it
all the
doesn't
time
bother
in
him.
comments all
No,
the
I'm saying it
time.
really doesn't.
Does it help him?
And he's probably desensitized to that.
His body language
We've watched
too.
Skippy's.
What are you saying, Doc?
His body language too. He doesn't seem bothered by it at all. Like when
At all,
What do
he
you mean?
hears
Look at his.
it.
Well, this is the earlier on.
We've seen Skippy's videos. Skippy has died. Skippy's been hit with bigger bullets.
I
You
haven't
hear me?
finished most of his videos because they're just so hard to watch.
Well,
I'm
I
not gonna
have.
lie.
And let me tell you
I'm
something.
not gonna lie.
Skippy's been hit with way bigger bullets and kept. I mean, not a scratch on him. Not a scratch on him. I mean, still pull up after the girl told him not to. Still call back. Still hang around. Go meet the guy that the girl was going on a date with right after him. Like Skippy has done some shit where it's borderline. Like, I don't know about you, Skippy. You might got some goddamn. You might be a virgin because you keep killing them all. Like that's.
Man, so it's funny to bring up Virgin. So Doc, say your point, and then sorry, Ian, we're gonna skip. Let's skip to something else. Let's skip to the 3355.
I was gonna say that, like maybe I don't know for sure. Like I'm just like, but maybe he's like on a spectrum and like he has difficulty interacting with
I think he's
social dynamics
autistic.
and stuff like that. Yeah, like something like that. And I actually think he probably gets the reverse feeling where like when he feels like a sexual advances or like he himself wants to make sexual advances, he probably is frightened of it and is scared of it and pulls back. But when a girl treats him like a puppy or and he rolls over, he's probably even more comfortable doing that than doing what I guess like the social norm would be for a dude, which is to take that as offensive and turn it over. Yeah, so I think he like might be doing it backwards, if that makes any sense.
No, I completely agree with you. I think he sees it as his way in, like where she's like, "Oh, you're adorable."
He's actually waiting
da, da,
for
da.
marriage.
I get that, but I'm
Huh.
saying not as his way into like, but his way into dating or whatever. I feel like he's like, well, that's the only way in I have. Oh, I'll be adorable Skippy. Like, you get what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
his play. It's,
Oh yeah, that's actually he's the teddy bear. That's his play.
hey, I'm Skippy, head ass.
Hey man, Roger Rabbit fucking got What's
That's
that girl's
true.
name?
That big-breasted cartoon bitch.
Yeah. Man,
Here,
what's her
play it
name?
real
Fuck,
quick, Ian.
Jessica
This-
Rabbit.
There
So
you
pretty
go.
much Skippy says like he's a
Point.
virgin, he's waiting till marriage, and then Myron's like, you're not a virgin by choice. And then here, go on.
I don't know. I lost my point. I'll shut up.
Okay. All I'm gonna say
He
is
had opportunities.
I have-
personally,
Thank you.
I don't think you're a virgin by choice. I think you're a virgin by, I guess,
Force?
reality.
Yeah.
By yeah, you're
Okay.
by you know,
Ignorant.
I think you're involuntary celibate right now. But I think you have definitely the potential to get girls. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. It just we just gotta improve some things. And here's the other thing: you said that you're like looking for a woman to get married, whatever. Are you actually actively pursuing that? Because if you want to get married, you're gonna have to put in like work to find a woman and better. I would argue that finding a wife is gonna be far more difficult than finding a girlfriend. Because finding a wife, you're gonna have to screen her even harder than a regular girl that you're gonna casually date and then see if she's worthy.
That's
My-
a great point. And
I would
the
argue
short answer is
that
you're
finding
right.
a career is harder than finding a job. What is he talking about? I would argue that finding a wife is harder than finding a duh, nigga. One is a lifelong commitment. One is not. What is he talking about? And first off, of course, this nigga's a virgin by choice at this point. This nigga is all like Skippy is well known on the YouTube platforms. Alba and Preach have 1.5 damn near million subscribers. So at the very
They react
least,
to at least I think 2-3 of his videos.
what?
as far exactly.
It's
as far as
like
I know.
5,
Oh,
6.
5?
So at least 1 million people know who Skippy is on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube sphere. So there are bitches who have probably DM'd him. I need to stop saying that word this often during this podcast. There's women who DM'd him and offered him them thighs, offered him them legs. But I'm sure he was like,
Wondering,
you know,
too.
it takes away from his. If Skippy fuck, we all gonna know.
You have that walk.
It's gonna be
What's
different.
it, like the
He
fucking meme with
ain't gonna
Dragon
be
Ball Z
skipping
where
no more.
we all feel it. We all feel the power level change. And
Oh,
we're just like,
man.
"Ah."
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Oh man, then they gonna have a shirt that says.
Did it.
Then they gonna have a shirt that says body count 1,
That would be the best shirt. I'm not gonna lie to
and
you.
on the back is gonna say and counting. Woohoo! Skippy, come get at me for your merch.
So I guess okay. So Skippy, let's critique mine a little bit here. So because we both kind of
Big
reacted,
Phil was
obviously.
popping.
I just my thing is I don't know if this is my bias. You guys tell me if I'm obviously being overly critical here. Like Myron is like not in the wrong, but I feel like there's a more tactfulness in going in a way to go about this, because Myron would say his intentions are to better Skippy, to improve Skippy, to help him grow, and to not be a beta and an alpha as they like to think of themselves. Even though later on this podcast they don't think they're alphas, but it's like okay,
I think Myron, before he tries to help anybody, he feels he has to prove he's superior to them. So, ooh, burp. The first whole part of his little advice shit was him exerting his dominance. Oh, I think this about you. I think these about you. These are my observations. My observations are complete. Then it's, I can help you. So it's just kind of like around what he can do for him instead of like real actual self-improvement or whatever. Like there's no reason, you know why, for Fresh and Fit.
And the irritating thing about you, real quick, is we might see some more. If not, just since I did watch this entire thing, so you could react to it, was he rarely ever let him fully explain himself. And when he did fully explain himself, he never accepted it. He always said, "That's an excuse. That's an excuse. That's an excuse." To the point where I think, let's get to the depression one, where I think Skippy was talking about depression. 146.20, Ian.
I think it's
Yeah,
because
one-
it's not
yeah.
logical to Myron. Like, it doesn't make any sense that he doesn't want money and like status and using that to front to get women, and so it's very weird. Also, Myron's approach is like you know when a trainer approaches you at the gym, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, "I see what
You
you're
can-
doing there.
you can lose a
Let me
couple
help
pounds
you
here."
out." You use what?
I said you can lose a couple pounds here and here.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you know, you got some good form, but let me show you how this works and stuff like that. And you know, I've been training guys all this time, and like just kind of boasting himself that you're like while you're in it.
Too forceful, abrasive, in your face. Yeah, all right.
And then also these,
I would
like we
say
said
annoying,
before,
yeah.
these are the type of guys. These are the type of guy like this would be the, I don't want to say incel god, but this would be the type of crowd or audience that if I looked at if I wanted to say a guy who probably purchases a lot of OnlyFans content,
Dude,
I'd probably describe him looking a little bit like how Skippy looks.
So you think this is the
This is
reference you made last time about Myron and Fresh trying
They're
to
competing for the same people, the same men, same men that the OnlyFans bitches are competing for. The little beta or whatever it is. I don't even like all that alpha beta shit. But
That's why there's that
the
saltiness or
self-described
lens
beta.
with Myron watching this, because it's like, yeah, I do feel like he's taking advantage of Skippy. Like, all this is to just show this is what you guys shouldn't be. If you use us, you won't be this. You'll be like us. And it's like, I don't know, but for me that just bothers me. I don't know
100%.
why.
Myron look like he
You
got a
think-
glass jaw.
You think Myron sees him as a project? He's like, man, if I can get you laid, you will be my crowning gem.
Yes,
Oh,
I
You will
man.
be
really
the
do.
fucking
Honestly,
pinnacle
I
of my
do.
empire.
Oh,
like,
man.
I will
Myron
show
would see
you off.
Myron would see his whole platform, Skippy's whole platform crushed in order for him to gain. You know what I'm saying? He's going to, instead of charging $600, isn't that how much they charge? $600 for the Get Bitches tutorial or whatever the fuck they got going
think
on.
it's
Yeah, that shit's gonna
Instagram.
double
Yeah, 600.
overnight.
It's going up to a band. They get Skippy and some. They just going up to a band.
All right, let's watch this. Myron's reaction to this. This made me so mad when I saw this.
Skippy, where do you live?
Ogden, Utah.
Okay. You live in the United States?
Utah?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have running water?
Yes.
You have electricity?
Mhm.
You have food in the fridge?
Yeah.
Okay, you got nothing to be depressed about. There's children right now
Oh,
that don't
my
even have
God.
clothes, that
Whoa,
don't have
whoa,
food.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
that
whoa,
don't-
whoa. Can you run it back to where Skippy spoke about being depressed?
Sure, I think
Yeah.
it's probably maybe go like a minute back. Let's see if that's good there.
I hate when people summer like.
So go for it.
Video where I say, hey guys, support me or my channel. I'm not doing it the right way, and people don't give a shit. Ogden, Utah.
Okay.
Oh,
You live in the
actually
United
forward
States?
a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't worry about
You
it,
have
you're
running water?
Yes.
You have electricity?
Mhm.
You have food in the fridge?
Yeah.
Okay, you got nothing to be depressed about. There's children right now that don't even have clothes, that don't have food, that don't have anything. Only in the West do we have this notion that, oh man,
Pause, Ian.
it's so tough.
To give you a quick summary, like he pretty much talked about his depression, how it led to him actually attempting to off himself, and he wasn't successful, and he goes more into it. And then this is Myron. I don't know if that was
Okay.
I don't know if that was directly after it or not, and it's not done. I just want to give you a little context. You want to
Wait,
see his
You're
talking about it, and
You're fine.
kind of mess up.
I remember I forgot what podcast it was, but I was talking about I hate when some conversations I won't have in certain spaces or won't even begin to have because they're so nuanced that even trying to summarize it or to just
Generalize it?
really
Some
quickly.
things you can't generalize.
You can't generalize it, and so it comes out as even if you're well informed on the subject, it comes out when you're trying to rush over all the topics and hit everything really quickly to let somebody know you know something. Like when that black girl went on a rant on that TikTok in the car.
Answer the whole world's questions.
Answer the whole world's questions. And so like I hate when somebody presents a nuanced conversation and then somebody thinks the answer they can just summarize everything. Well, you got this, you got this, you got this. And it's not that simple, bro. It's not that simple. Depression is depression. Regardless of my point of view on the world, if I feel depressed, I am depressed. Whether you're arguing if I have the right to feel depressed comparing to somebody else is different. But to say if I'm not depressed because there are people who have it worse, and that should just cure my depression on the spot, actually speaks to how Myron feels. He's supposed to come up with solutions for his own podcast, his own chat. The people that look up to Myron that he's supposed to help, that's not a nuanced way of helping anybody. So that's, to me, honestly, that just speaks to how the fucking fit and fraud, or for whatever the fuck Abram Preach called them, fraud and fake. There you go. It just doesn't make sense to me to just, oh, you got water, you got food, you got this, cool. You ain't got no problems then, huh? Life just figured out.
Everyone start again, Ian.
Lame ass nigga.
Tough. Oh my God, I'm sad. I don't know how I feel. The problem is this: you're looking at what you don't have instead of looking at what you do have,
I ain't
and
never
you're
heard
making
that before.
excuses for your inadequacies. Okay? All I hear is wah 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 fucking wah, bro. And the thing is that you've gotten away with doing this for your entire adult life because no one's told you the truth. Bro, you are blessed, okay? With all the flaws and all, You are blessed compared to 99% of the world population. You have running water, my friend, and access to food, electricity, and a shelter.
10
I don't want to
fingers
hear
and
none of
2
that
feet.
shit. There's people right now that are in wheelchairs. There's people that are crippled. There's people that have serious defects. You're a nice guy. You're healthy, right, to a degree. Healthy
Somebody
enough to
should
work,
ask
healthy
Fit
enough
why
to
he
make
this
YouTube
buff.
videos.
Somebody should ask Fit what made him go to the gym and work out. He just got. It was for him. It wasn't because he wanted people to look at him in a certain light.
That's why Fresh worked out. They were giving him his set.
Fresh working out ain't working out. That
He
nigga's
pretty lost
been in
20 pounds.
hoodies. Yeah, he been in hoodies as long as I've seen him. One is a t-shirt, one is in a hoodie. You know what that tells me? You're not ready. Man, I don't know, bro. This one's tough. He's some is there more parts to this shit?
I mean, he's not done. Like Skippy then reacts from this, and it's just
What does Skippy say in response?
yeah. Let's play it out. I think it's getting to it.
Healthy enough to become famous to a degree where people recognize you. Count with your blessings, bro. Stop making excuses for your failures. There's no excuse for you to have shitty credit at 43 years old. We have a playlist on here that we tell guys how to get their credit up on point, man. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things you could do. And we could talk about it behind the scenes, obviously, because it's a little bit more involved than what I can talk about here. But, bro, I need you to stop looking at the have-nots and start looking at the haves that you have. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're depressed, because you're looking at what you don't have. What you need to start looking at is what you do have. Your whole perception of reality is fucked up because you're looking at the glass as half empty. And that's typically what
Now you can
losers
skip a
do.
little bit
And
easier.
we're
Hey,
trying
my
to
boy
get
should
you
write a
into a
book.
winner's mindset. Okay?
It's all the
I
mindset.
feel
No, I don't
like
want to
it
hear
gets
no
sued.
I feel or
feel.
none of that fucking shit. The
Merch.
reality
Fucking
is
original idea.
that you need to
You
change,
didn't even let him
Skippy.
speak,
And I know this is
like-
hard to hear.
like you
It's
said,
hard.
there's nuance
And
to
I'm
this. Like,
I'm going
who are
easy on
to
you
tell
too.
him-
You
can
know what I'm
pause
saying?
there, Ian. Because
I've
basically,
heard
like
8
he tried.
cliches. Go for it.
Nah, it's just you're just right. There's more nuance to this type of conversation. Like, who are you to take away this man's depression? Like, just because out of what the statistics of the world based off of food, house over your head, roof over your head, proximity to like your spot in the world and being in America, like it's just like, who are you to take that away from me? Like, you don't.
That's like telling. Just, okay, boom. What's his name? Jason Williams, #1 player, went to Duke. He got into a motorcycle accident and it injured him really bad. So his NBA career didn't go how it was supposed to go. That's like telling him not to be depressed after getting in a motorcycle accident before the draft. Because there are kids in Africa who have no food, and you have food and water and shelter. So the thing you've worked for your whole life and is now in jeopardy, should not affect you mentally or emotionally at all.
Or physically.
Fuck you, dickhead. That shit is, man, I don't know. That shit's lame to me. I just don't like, and then he's just talking to him. I don't like anybody who talks through, it seems like, and it even may seem like I do it at times, so I may be hypocritical here, but it seems like people, when people talk to their ego, or they talk in definites, like everything is just, this is just this is how this goes. It's just weird to me to see them. And then he's already said he feels like he identifies as a beta male. So for him to check, he's even being beta by trying to take advantage of what he feels is a lesser man. Like, man, fuck you, dude. Let Skippy do what he's doing. If Skippy wants to be like that, if Skippy didn't want to be like that, he would have changed, bro. Damn.
Because that's I think mine would argue I'm trying to help him change, and I need to be this direct with him, as he says men are direct with each other. I need to be this direct with him because I need to help provoke change in him, or something, whatever you want to say. But like I said when we first got in this conversation, it just lacked a level of tactfulness. Like, I don't disagree with the directfulness, but the way you're going about doing it live on your platform, doing it, is just, to me, so disingenuous that it's just like fake and fraud. It's just,
Well, it's also really difficult because like this shit doesn't work. This psychology stuff where it's just like, get fucking over it. Like, that doesn't work, dude. Like, you don't know the past, and I doubt he went through it within the past 45 minutes of the show. So like, he doesn't know if his dad fucking spoke to him like this for years, and it just actually generated this fucking I'm a piece of shit cycle of mentality in his head that he is now feeling. Look at the way he looks, dude. He's shutting down. He's probably been spoken to like this before, and he fucking is taking it now even again, and he's relapsing into that fucking shell. And that's probably why he doesn't go out for girls. Whenever that fucking voice in his head says I'm a piece of shit and I can't get over this, he just doesn't go out and talk to a girl. Like he doesn't do it. And I think he's just waiting for a girl to kind of approach him with that mentality of like, oh, I want this guy and I want to keep him forever. And I think that's the easier option for him. And that's why he won't himself go out for it. But yeah, like, dude, this is not working. Like, clearly, like, he is fucking closing up hardcore in the image that we're frozen on right now. And Myron's like, oh, I'm breaking through. It's like, nah, dude, he is closing the fuck off.
He's
Myron,
taking a
wow.
beating, bro. He's taking a beating. Like this whole, I don't like if y'all want to watch this
Nigga
later on
named
your own
Myron.
time. I'm saying right now, it's hard to watch. Like one, it's they react to some of his clips and his videos are, I'm sorry, cringe. They're hard to watch. I admit that. But just the girls and clearly Fresh and Fit pissed me off.
Wanna
Like
see what
this
the
was just
comments
wasn't the
say.
right situation for this. Like if the whole intention was just to critique, I really hope he knew, Skippy knew, because if they just blindsided him, just like, hey, instead of coming on the show and just being part of this discussion that we normally have, we're just gonna critique you. I don't know. That didn't sit well with me. I really hope he knew. And even if he did know, I would question how did they let him know? Because, man, I just don't think all that was necessary at all. Just seemed like I keep repeating myself, just super disingenuous. Like there was no tactfulness in it. It was just Myron's, like Doc says, too much logic. Like you're clearly doing this wrong. You're 43 years old. You've been doing
shit.
this, and this. Let's help you change.
Hey, this is a shot at Abba and Preach.
I think so too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This was a shot at Abba and Preach.
I think this was strategic on their. I
yeah,
agree
this
there.
was a shot at Abba and Preach because they had him on the show to help him, whereas they, I guess, Abba and Preach have just been kind of critical or observational, to be honest with you.
No,
But
I had the same observation. It was just more. Since you like to get down conspiracies, like I would agree. On the strategic side of Myron was like, hey, they react to a lot of Skippy content. Skippy's the kind of guys we're trying to
win-win-win.
Yep, our fan base. So let's bring them on.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay, cool. I'm done with this.
Yeah, well, I don't know what more to talk about. I just, man, come on, Skippy.
Leave at least like happily? Does he at least like walk out cordially, or does it just fucking get worse?
Well, they're gonna turn
It
the
get-
camera
it-
off
it
before
ended up getting
they
worse.
let Skippy stand up and walk
After
out.
this, after Myron, I think Myron gets like really into it about his opinion of him and all this, and then eventually, after it, he's like, it's hard to take this and then react to it properly, especially live. But I also have been peeing the last like hour, so can I go pee real quick? And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go pee. So he goes and he gets off camera for like a little bit to pee. But personally, I could be wrong here, but man, it looked like he had to go to the bathroom and like let out some emotions.
Myron solves depression. That's what the fucking tag should have been.
Suck it up, quote Myron.
Yeah, and then the girls end up trying to like dig into him a little bit more, and then Fresh is like, "Hey, no, look, he's had enough," and they cut it off. They end up ending it, but
You know what that was the equivalent of? Not all the way, but that was the equivalent of, hey, and make sure you feed your girls.
inside joke there. No one understand that. This freaking guy. All right, let's switch over to the video John wanted to talk about last week. The New York governor.
Hala sharaba halaba sharaba laba halaba halaba shabaraba dabaraba. Y'all about to hear her speak in tongues. Yeah. Y'all about to hear her speak in tongues.
All right, so the new New York governor, Kathy Hochul, at a Christian Culture Center, had this. Was this a prayer or just a little speech, or she just had this to say? Go ahead and
Speech.
start it, Ian. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and do your little things, guys.
We have to get this community back. And what we went through this pandemic made us stronger. I believe that, especially when I talk to young people who weren't able to have their graduations from high school or a normal life for the last 18 months. I say to them, whatever comes your way in life, you are stronger. You are more resilient. God let you survive this pandemic because he wants you to do great things someday. He let you live through this when so many other people did not. And that is also your responsibility. But how do we keep more people alive? We are not through this pandemic. I wished we were, but I prayed a lot to God during this time. And you know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine. That is from God to us. And we must say, thank you, God. Thank you. And I wear my vaccinated necklace all the time to say, I'm vaccinated.
Who?
All of you. Yes, I know you're
That would go really
vaccinated.
well in
You're the
Germany.
smart ones, but you know there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out
Wow.
and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love one another. And how do you show that love? But to care about each other enough to say, please get vaccinated because I love you. I want you to live. I want our kids to be safe when they're in schools. I want you to be safe when you go to a doctor's office or to a hospital and are treated by somebody. You don't want to get the virus from them. You're already sick or you wouldn't be there. We have to solve this, my friends. I need every one of you. I need you to let them know that this is how we can fight this pandemic, come back to normal, and then start talking about the real issues that we have to. Fighting systemic racial injustice, which exists today. And
we
if there's
still
a
slid in
denier,
there.
I will take you on any day because
Yes,
I've
my
seen
people.
it. I know it exists, and we are not going to have a blind eye to this ever again any longer under my watch. And that is my commitment to you.
She looked like systemic injustice. Y'all ready?
We have to get this community back.
Okay, so
Okay, wait, hold on. So a dickhead would say, didn't God... I believe in God. Let me start off by, let me say this. I believe in God. I believe in God. I'm right here where his hat at. You know what I'm saying? But wouldn't somebody say that God created the people who created the the virus as well? So
That's the contradiction, bro. That's why.
So
I mean,
she has to understand when you speak, when you're speaking at religious events. It's not even because she is obviously at a religious place or
Christian
church.
Cultural Center.
So yeah, I get it. You have to kind of be not PC, but
our church
she invites a lot of questions when she says stuff like that. Like, I've just never seen a politician speak so
Man, I feel like you're being nice right now.
no, because it's controversial in the fact that somebody questioning God, she creates questions, like even religiously. Like if I was on my pursuit religiously,
Someone
like by
questioning
getting
God, she creates
like for
questions.
example, if I was struggling with my belief in God, right, and she's like, you got to do this because God created this and this and this, and so I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, didn't God create the people who created the virus itself? Why would he do that? Like, she invites other things other than her actual point when she's talking about God in that way.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is how I perceive it. She's utilizing God to manipulate. She wants a certain outcome, and she's using the name of God to facilitate that outcome, and that's when I think it's wrong. Like, who are you to invoke the name of God to say, God made this for us, and because he made it for us, you guys are the smart people for taking it, and it's good because you're being loving and caring and taking care of your neighbor. It's like, you're my apostles. It's like, who do you
everybody
think you
does
are?
that, though. Like, people, countless ages have used religion to invoke things in other people. Like, it's always just what people do with religion. The other thing too is that, like, there's always been these like illogical inconsistencies where, like, I mean, like during World War II, both the Germans and the Allied forces were praying to God. They were both Christians and they were still fighting each other. And why would God have let the Holocaust happen? Like, come on. And so that's kind of the thing where it's just like, why would God have let the bat, even if you're not even going with the Wuhan lab thing, why would God let the bat infect and then mutate the virus and then create us and then basically cull all of the old people?
Like, God, let that nigga fuck that monkey.
Yeah, or AIDS and stuff like that. And then why did God let the person who gave birth to that person that would then create the vaccine, why he let that happen to his machinations? Like, it's just boggling if you try to think about all of it. I do see some logic in the idea that, like, God, if he is truly omnipotent or she is whatever it is, then there is a timeline of souls that I'm probably sure it's got a registry of, and it knows if it's truly omnipotent that eventually something like this would have happened, like a vaccine would have been created by one of them. And maybe that if you really believe it, like most people believe in destiny, like maybe that was that person's destiny.
Yeah, but
And
okay. She also insinuated that I made it through the thing because God chose me. And if I have somebody in my family or a friend that didn't make it,
They're not chosen.
they didn't make the cut. Why? Like that's what
But I
I'm
mean,
saying.
there's already like Old Testament stories of like that. Like Noah's Ark is one of those stories too, where most people didn't make the cut. Like there's total religious actions that actually happen like this. Even
No,
like most religions have like end of world stories where most people aren't going to make the cut.
No,
The
I agree
rapture is
with
the
that.
same thing.
But we're still allowed to speak on it being it not being right. And like this is clearly an example.
Just because it's happened before, it doesn't mean it's right. Like what? I'm guess I'm confusing your point. Like, what's your point?
My
He's
point
saying
is
that this is often how religion was used.
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah,
this
I understand that.
This
It's
isn't
been-
any different, so I don't see why it's offensive. Like
Well,
this is what
It's offensive
basically
because
people have done.
it's offensive because, as you've clearly done this entire time, was point out how it's been done before in the past. Religion has been used, invoked to perform a lot of evil in the world. That's why it's offensive, because as someone who believes in God, I'll speak for myself here.
Ooh,
So
I
as
know
someone
why
who
it
believes
is.
in God, this is not someone I would argue who's worshiping the same God. Like,
Who's the guy who had the people drink the wine and kill themselves?
someone Dahmer. No. What was his name?
Jeffrey Dahmer? No.
No. That's
exa-
I forgot what they were called, like the Paradise Cult or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yes.
I know his name.
It's
but
like
exactly
Twilight
what you're
This
talking
is
about.
why this is different. This is an indoctrination of you to do something in a way that's have faith in me. Like
Have faith in me, not God, because God spoke to me, and because God spoke to me, I am right in what I'm saying. So follow me.
so I get
That is-
I get that it's always been used for war or propaganda and stuff like that, but this one just feels a little different. And I'm not saying worse or better. It's just different because it is about the vaccine. And so it's like God sent this item,
This specific
this
item.
specific item, trust the item. Whereas when you're fighting for your country or whatever it is, it's God is on our side to protect our country. We're going to go deliver some type of people or whatever.
Afghanistan.
But
Like-
this one is closer. This is closer to the people sipping the Jesus juice than it is to what it's been used for before. Whereas
So-
like
Do you discount or do you not believe that God would send an item?
no, I don't discount that. I mean, I often ask if Jesus was sent right now, would we be able to accept that? Like, would we actually be able to, if a person appeared and I am Jesus, like, would we
See-
be able to accept it?
See, I gotta think
I don't
about this
think
more,
so.
but no, I don't think God would send an item. I really don't think God involves himself that often in the dealings of us and humans. I really don't think he does, because that would affect the whole notion of free will. The simple fact that God interjects himself in the situation because he is God affects our free will. We no longer have a choice in the matter. That's why bad things happen in the world. It's not because God lets it happen. It's because we made the choice.
I'm not even going to speak on any of that. Reason being, it has nothing to do with my argument against what she's doing. Like, you get what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with God's intention or if I believe God would do it. It's her use of God in this,
Mine too.
in
honestly,
this,
it
in
is.
in
Yes.
this exact like sphere.
Yes.
And then
So then, are you guys deists? Deists essentially believe that the world was made and then God took off his hands and just lets it spin and just watches.
no, I do believe in omniscience. I do believe
Divine intervention.
Yeah,
I just don't know the degree of it, but I
yeah.
just don't think it's going to be something specific as, okay, this situation is going on. Let me.
I don't think, but I don't think it's impossible for God to nigga. In the Bible, it says
I don't think it's
manna. It
impossible,
says
but I
manna
just-
fell from the sky. That's one item, and it was dropped. It was falling from the sky so they could fight hunger. It's for exact and one. You know what I'm saying, for a specific reason. So I'm not saying or discrediting that could be the case. Oh, but for example, for her to say she prayed to God, and God then God did give us an answer, insinuates that God gave her the information directly. So it insinuates that she also has a closer relationship with God. There's so many insinuations. That's what I'm saying.
Assumptions, like that you said before.
like-
There's
So
a lot
I
of things
think
we have to assume in this.
Exactly.
I think she just prayed and then one day woke up and saw that Pfizer had created a vaccine.
Yeah,
and
so
that
did
just-
God
that
create
just
the recall?
reaffirmated- I think that just affirmated her belief. It didn't necessarily like, oh, he directly came to me. I think it was just like, it was just an affirmation of her belief system, and she's just now even more devout. Because a lot of people were praying for vaccines and they were created. Whether or not they work, we don't know. Well, only the future can tell.
I just
But
think
we do
associating
know-
things with God is a slippery slope because, like, you're right. I'm not trying to discredit that God can involve him. I just don't. I just think it's super limited, and to anyone, even if you're a believer or non-believer, to associate something to God is just something super. I would say
Cringe.
dangerous because cringe. I would say dangerous because, like Doc said, people have used it in the past to justify certain things, and they have led to, like I would admit, and I would also argue, a lot of evil.
Okay, boom.
'Cause I
So
don't-
what we're now talking about here is, for example, how we were watching that concert and he was like, raise your hand if you're not vaccinated, and the crowd booed. So we have identified that outside of the ICU shit, the bed shit, people who are not vaccinated are actually treated not on a one-on-one basis, but kind of like generally treated in
unspoken
a
way.
weird,
Well, that is true. I do agree with
Okay,
that.
so
Even
boom.
the-
So
the
now when
Cupid,
so now when she
the
is so
Hey Cupid Vaxxer poster, like, dude, I was like, dude, that's a split. That's a clear division of like Vaxxers are welcome on the platform.
okay,
Like,
so now when she associates the vaccine with God, what is the automatic association with those who are not vaccinated?
Battle between good and evil, like you've said.
That's why I say it's a weird place. I don't take a single word she said away as in taken away to be fact or fiction. I'm saying that dynamic that she's presenting is really dangerous as far as now it goes from, oh, these people may not, they're not, what is it seen as, the anti-vaxxers or whatever, they are rebellious or whatever it is, the wherever they're seen as. Now it's they're bad people, like they're not of God,
Yeah.
or they're not Christian
They're
enough.
unclean.
I think the unclean is the best way to say it because I don't think they're bad people, but I do
Some
think
people
that
think so.
a growing amount of people are thinking that they're dirty, like they're unclean,
And
or
they're
they're
dumb.
not.
Yeah.
Because
It
you're
yeah,
the
that
smart
depends
one.
on the person though. But like, I think if you treat it on an individualistic level, then it's a bit different.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I agree.
But if you like mass scale it, then you're just like, oh well, why wouldn't you do that? Like it's just dumb. Like there's no logic in it. But I mean, there kind of is, and even doctors are like seeing ivermectin, for as much as people think of it as a joke. Like I mean, India gave ivermectin to a lot of people to suppress symptoms and stuff like that,
And
they've
Joe
seen it
Rogan
actually
used it.
work.
He was fine. Trump, like,
Yeah, so I don't disagree with the multiple avenues to approach it. But this to me, like, dude, people are gonna congregate, people are gonna they're gonna create cults for whatever, so it doesn't trip me out that like a Christian would use the vaccine and kind of just like congregate other people. And even like Christian ideals, like if you're super orthodox, it's very much go forth and multiply. And so, like this to me, it's just like you're creating the convent bigger, or I think convent's the right word. I don't know if that's a. I
Okay.
was
So,
thinking cup. Yeah, so like she's just doing like the normal like religious tactics I've always seen. So to me, it's not offensive. I can see it being kind of creepy, but
I've just
yeah,
never
that's
seen
kind
it.
of my deal.
I've never seen a politician this publicly bold this way. That's what I'm saying. There are people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. How do we know this is what God wants?
I mean, I honestly think she's just trying her best to define it through her own personal attempt at being a medium.
So she's
some-
listened to God.
somebody gave her
Anybody
this position.
unvaccinated has not listened to God.
Well, somebody gave her this position, and I think she's just using it to present herself. I don't genuinely think she's like trying to manipulate the masses and stuff like that. I do think religion has
I
a
think she-
tendency
yeah.
to be an opiate of the people, and people naturally follow because to some people that are looking for certain answers, it talks to them. and they will follow into it. But I rarely like, I don't think life operates like a movie where like this person's like, like in the high castle, like fucking.
No,
figuring
actually,
out
I agree with
ways
you.
to change everything like that.
I
think
would
it's
agree
just
with you. I
fucking-
don't think she's trying to manipulate the masses. I think she's pandering more than manipulating.
But isn't that a level of manipulation, pandering? You don't.
Yeah, but she's pandering to a crowd that already, it's like preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I think it's unconscious.
She's at a Christian cultural center,
Yeah.
leaning hard into it. That's, you know what I'm saying?
I guess that's why it bothered me, because like I'm reluctant, even though I do wear the hat, I'm reluctant to say I'm a Christian because, like Doc said, like my biggest thing before I started diving down to my relationship with God was I never trusted religion. I always believed, to a degree I still do, clearly as I'm expressing the sentiment here with this, religion is a construct to control the masses. But the church itself and it being a part of community, there's something to that is necessary when it comes to having a relationship with God.
Nicaea.
So that's why it's just the Council of Nicaea, this guy. That's why for me, when I see stuff like this, it's like I see more of the really, I guess I don't know if you have an issue. I don't know if you, when you were saying this, you had an issue with it or not. But for me, that's why it was an issue, is because it's more of a religion than a church, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's the distinction. There's a difference between religion and church. Religion is just something that, like, hey, it's a community of people who hopefully are, we're good to each other. We're nice people. We're trying to be better and wholesome and positive and all this stuff. And we're not going to step on your toes. And like, I don't know. It's different. Where our church is like, we're a community and like, we're trying to be better people. We have these ideals. We have these morals. And if you want to be a part of this, like, we're going to challenge you. And if you like it, you don't. And if you do, well, cool, welcome here. And it's usually churches tend to be, I like the small community church, because when it starts getting bigger, like the Christianity church, when it starts becoming like a franchise, almost a business, a production, something like that, it's like, are you actually here to help people grow in their belief and relationship with God, or are you just trying to make money? That's why, like, that's my personal disconnect, and I'll reveal and admit one of my things with my relationship with God is my disconnect when it comes to churches, to the religion aspect of it.
Y'all watch YouTube a lot on your phones?
And when I say religion, I mean like the following of it.
Well, one of the things. Oh, go ahead.
Y'all watch YouTube a lot on your phones?
I saw it in 50 minutes.
Huh?
YouTube on my phone a lot, yeah.
Y'all ever accidentally click that video under it and it's the dude from North Point Church?
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I clicked that video so many fucking times on accident, and then it's this collared, button down, 2 buttons, I'm cool kind of guy. I'm approachable pastor guy talking to me, and he's saying positive things like Joel Osteen, which is cool, but it's just like, damn, he got the #1 ad on YouTube.
Oh, it's an ad. Okay. I was like, I've never seen this. What are you talking about? But I don't get ads on YouTube.
Nice. So I guess, yeah, let's change topics. We got 51 minutes.
Platinum member.
That was just my issue. Like, as someone who is a believer, and I do, like, have a strong belief, I would say, it's just, this is probably, God forgive me if this is wrong, it probably is wrong, but I question her belief. Like, I question her relationship with God. Like, who do you worship? Because this, like.
Well, to piggyback on that idea.
I know that's intense. That's why I said, God forgive me.
Who do you worship? Tell me.
To piggyback on that, one thing I have noticed recently is that people treat science like it's a religion. So I actually don't see it that different for her to fuse the two. Whether or not you should accept it or not, like that's, you kind of have to have your own skepticism. But that's exactly it, right? Like,
it's an opinion.
Like to some people, they've changed sciences into spectrums, and now it's like a decision that you can make into. And should you make that decision, then other people have to abide by it, and and if you don't, then you can section off and stuff like that. Like a lot of people treat science too like it's a hard belief. Even now, like we're seeing it right now, where everyone's like, did you do your own research? Did you and there's like this new age of information where people don't actually know what the fuck is true, even though there's so much information in the air now, to the point to where people are just like die hard leaning into whatever theories and scientific rhetoric they believe, and it's getting really confusing. But you can see like people split and schism with different schools of beliefs and stuff like that, and it's very, very much becoming science. And one thing I've always thought about is that like religion within previous ages was always just the science of the time. Like if you go back to ancient Greece and you tell them fucking Zeus doesn't exist, they would be like, you're fucking stupid. I slaughtered 2 fucking cows right now so I could get a blessing because I know this shit works. And they're just like, I went through all this fucking talk. I talked to the experts too. I know what the fuck is going on. But in reality, man, I don't think anybody fucking really knows what's going on. We have some idea, but in 100 years, they're gonna look back and be like, they thought it was a fucking respiratory disease. It was fucking dumbasses. And who knows, man?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree, dude. All right, so let's do a quick reaction. We got like 15 minutes left. Ian said to, I don't know if I want to watch the first TikTok. Maybe we'll just get right into the second one, which is about the whole cancel. This guy's expressing a sentiment about cancel culture, pretty much. So let's get that pulled up and let's see what he has to say and let's react to it.
Are we really going to create a culture where we're going to rid him of his livelihood for some stupid tweets when he was a teenager? Because I tell you what, I don't know a single human being that's not cracked a slightly inappropriate either / partly racist joke in their lifetime. And this idea that publicly we're all angels, perfect angels, who are here to judge others to the same standard of false perfection that we portray is just like deeply toxic. And then also on the idea of like free speech, we're now stopping the best ideas because we're judging them based on whether they fit or not. And this is, again, we talked about divergent thinking and having more diverse thoughts and accepting them and welcoming them and interrogating them for their merit, not whether they fit. Are we...
Yeah, I like what he said. I agree with what he said. I think that's going on right now, especially because of, I don't know if it's because of cancel culture, but at least that is what's going on, is people say things because they want to fit in, not because they actually want to have, what was the word, divergent discussion, something like that, like pretty much critical thinking discussions, like in depth, like revealing vulnerable conversations, like this is what I think, I'm open to being critiqued, blah blah blah. And we can't do that without someone trying to, as he said, ruin our lives because we are perfect angels and we must be, and everyone must be perfect. Like, I don't know, I agree with him. I think right now the whole culture is just, as he said, toxic.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it too, man. It's really funny because as much as I guess like 5 years ago we made so much fun of China for having this social currency and all this stuff like that, and we're like, look at them, they're all communists, they're turning into a fucking hive mind, but we're doing it to ourselves. We're fucking forming our own little hive minds on Twitter and eventually canceling the people that are divergent, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? I thought the whole point was to get away from that, but we're bringing it on to ourselves. And so
I'm reluctant to say we're doing it to ourselves, even though I don't think we're completely doing it to ourselves.
We are.
I don't think completely.
We are. Because we is we.
The reason why I don't say...
Oh, we is we.
I'm trying to formulate the sentence because our entertainment industry right now is completely dominated with the more progressive-leaning mentality of thinking. Then the news media, for the longest time, it's been very liberal and progressive-leaning. Only recently that Fox has always been conservative, but not really. Maybe more recently, but like not really. And
he spoke on China.
I know on China and how they think one way, but
the country. So we is we. Americans did this to Americans.
I actually don't think it's just America.
We just haven't properly promoted the American ideal of free speech, and you can say what you want to say. For the longest time, it's like again, what this guy's saying. What fits right now? What fits is what's popular when it comes to our entertainment, because
cookie cutter responses,
to be
cliches,
all that stuff. If you say anything that goes against this, we're going to cancel you. With like media, news, like all that stuff, like schools now, like that's what it is. That's why I understand when you say we did it to ourselves, because like you say, we're Americans. We, even if they are progressives or left leaning, right, like wherever the spectrum is, even though like we're still we. If you thought there was too much on that side, you should have spoke up more. Like the accountability, responsibility. I get it.
Facts.
But that's why we're seeing it more, like different podcasts. You can give credit to who are the right leaning guys? Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Candace, like all of them. Like people, there's finally another side of the conversation finally getting spoken.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, fuck all three of them folks that you just named. But continue.
But they're recognizable names when it comes to that side,
and
I agree they're on that side. What I hope from this is, because it goes to your point you've always said, and I agree with this completely, is we overcorrect.
Yeah.
We had too
100%.
much of one side. Now I named those guys, and as you said, I don't even like those people because it's an overcorrection to the other side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people would agree, or if y'all would agree. That's why I hope something like our podcast kind of gets going. But it's like, I lean more to the right, you more center, Doc more left, and we're able to sit down and have these like critical discussions. We clearly see the world differently. We see things different. Like even with the one we just reacted to, which what was her freaking name? Kathy Hotshow, the little church thing.
Ugh.
We both saw that differently. I was bothered. He wasn't. Why were you bothered? Why am I bothered? And we were able to dissect that because we have different perspectives on it. And that, like we said with the whole Sarah Silverman, how we need these different perspectives because it actually helps us progress.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you actually want progress, you need to have something to bounce these ideals off of, this perspective off of. Like that's why I don't know. I just
Like, I
for
mean,
the longest
we're
time we
always
haven't been actually
adjusting.
feeding these conversations. It's just been like, no, you got to speak this way.
No, I agree with you because, like, for example, we're always adjusting. Like with everything we have going on with the gender positive movement. I guess that's the best way to say it, or gender
Or you could
whatever
say with the fat
movement or
positive
whatever.
movement, or that's probably not the right
Like we
word.
have that
Body
spa
positive,
thing,
there you
right?
go.
We have that spa thing. So now we understand. Okay, look, we understand that identification and all that stuff is fluid and all that. But now we're creating a gray area where pedos or whatever can exist and kind of manipulate, what society is moving towards. So now we have to add a correction or we have to do something here to stop that. So we're always adjusting. So I understand, but we can't prevent everything from happening because then we won't know what to adjust to and we'll be
from.
stagnant.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's why I say it's like growing pains. When ideas are always new, we're always, as Americans, as people, we're going to take it too far. And so when we take it too far, we're going to say, okay, not that again. And so we always do stuff in fear of not that again. But we should also still be moving forward. And you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like when everything becomes cliche and everything becomes what you should say, then we kind of never explore the realm of possibilities. And so it's just like, also we're not kind of genuine to our own thoughts because then we kind of, we do it already, but it would just suck to have to feel one way about something and then always not be able to speak on the way you feel about it.
Question it or anything.
And then, you know what I'm saying, you almost have to hide how you genuinely feel about stuff because you're scared of the repercussions. And I'm not saying, I feel all black people ain't shit. If that's my feeling, I should go out and say it because, I want progress. No, that's not what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, there are critiques of new ideas that should be allowed to be said so that way we can address them. And I just feel like we've been dodging a lot of that shit. I ain't got shit else to say about that.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say.
I kind of look at mass speech and like the whole social media advent of it as like a giant school of fish. And you ever watch like giant schools of fish in like documentaries?
Yeah.
Like they all move in one direction. As soon as they see a predator, they all go left.
Yep.
They'll
they're,
go
like, in
high or
sync.
low. Yeah. And so I kind of see Twitter and feeds like that operate in that mentality in my mind. And so whenever there's just like, Judge Kavanaugh is accused for, the Me Too movement, and you see all the fish just move that direction and stuff like that. And I think that it's definitely brought justices and like what's the word I'm looking for? Like terrible acts to light and stuff like that. And so it's done a lot of justice. And so people are really about it right now. But I think the moment it starts causing enough injustices is when it's going to turn over. I think it's already started. Like there's a lot more individualism. I see so many creators on YouTube, so many individualists. Everyone's starting to do podcasts and stuff like that because people are starting to be like, nah, I need to get out of the fish school. Like I need to actually speak my mind and do all this stuff. And yeah, I definitely think that a lot of people are kind of getting against it. A lot of people especially in the circles I kind of walk around, people are getting sick of like cancel culture. I don't know anybody that is generally pro cancel culture, which is kind of weird to say, but I've never met a single person that admits it. That says like, yeah, I'm totally
love
for
canceling shit.
Yeah, I love doing that. I wake up in the morning so I can freaking scour Twitter to see what the next, travesty is so I can cancel them. Like I don't know anybody that does that. So
Niggas need to cancel forest fires.
yeah,
Cancel
right?
AIDS.
Fight justice for my Twitter account on my phone while I'm on the fucking can.
Twitter justice words. All right.
It-
Well,
It's just like, well, let me finish my thought.
Yeah.
I guess what the last thing I was gonna say is just, yeah, I don't want it to get to a point to where something really bad does happen. I just think that when something really bad does happen, like if we go far enough to let this this forceful nature of everybody has to be on the same page create a very terrible travesty, whatever it is. After that, I think it'll disperse, and then people will be like, "Fuck, we're not gonna do that anymore." Even companies now are starting to be like, "Shit, last time we bought in on whatever hashtag, and we came up broke. We thought it was gonna profit, but no." And it's like shit, and they're having to like also lose profits off of morality, which isn't a bad thing. It's just one of those things where like at some point like there's a balancing act to it, where you can't follow every single indignity on the planet, because you can't just fucking pull Nike to save all the minks. You can't just pull Nike to fucking get all the bottle caps out of a single pond and stuff like that. It's I think it's just gonna get a little bit too much, and we're just gonna have to see where that goes.
yeah, man.
Wait, hold on. I gotta say this on the podcast. I don't care if you clip it or do whatever you gotta do. R. Kelly was pulling up to middle schools and high schools. Pulling up to the middle school, R. Kelly in his car when they getting off school. And you telling me he the only one who's going to jail? He went broke paying parents of the kids. They all need to go to jail. R. Kelly was pulling up to middle schools. Middle schools. R. Kelly.
All right, y'all. I think that's enough fake deep thinking for today. One hell of a point.
That nigga pulled up to the high schools like the freshmen going crazy this year. Oh my God. They all need to go to jail.
Please
the
hit
teachers,
the like button.
the parking attendant who let R. Kelly pull
Share
up
the
knowing he
podcast.
wasn't picking up no
Comment.
kids.
Let us know
Well, he
what
was
you think.
picking up kids.
We're all idiots.
Wow.
Tell us how much of idiots we are.
I bet you R. Kelly wasn't on a single person's emergency
Let us
contact.
know what you think about R.
I
Kelly.
swear to God, I bet you he wasn't.
See y'all next time on
But
Fake
he
Deep
was
Thinking,
there,
y'all.
faithfully.
Yo, send
Peace.
Oh
and
my
that fish school
goodness.
towards them, man.
Wow.
Towards R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. Fuck R. Kelly.